Tigers Blue Jays baseball on Sportsnet. A spectacular Wednesday afternoon. School day here at the ballpark. Tons of kids in the ballpark to see Yuri Perez and Kevin Gausman in the final game of this series. The Blue Jays trying to win a series and inch closer to 500. As we mentioned, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. maybe not feeling 100%, but a few other guys aren't feeling 100% on this roster either. Remember, Sosa got hit yesterday, Okamoto, but Vladdy is feeling well enough to be back in the lineup today, and that is good news. First, though, we'll look at the lineup for the visitors, including Otto Lopez, who is hitting .330 on the season, but fairly quiet here in this series. The Toronto native Liam Hicks catching and hitting second. The Burlington native Owen Casey back in there playing right and batting seventh. Young hitters, some of them very aggressive hitters against Kevin Gausman. A very interesting matchup here today.
Interesting, and I would say a good matchup for the Toronto Blue Jays. Kevin Gausman just continues to be Kevin Gausman. That ERA at .323 now in his 11 starts. He continues to limit the free passes. That's always a good thing. He allowed one walk against the Pirates, but he struck out 8 in his last start and went 6 2/3 innings for the second time this season. That's a season high. He also did it against Cleveland. The start before that, he went 6 scoreless against Detroit. That's 12 2/3 innings, 1 walk, and 13 strikeouts in those last 2 starts. Behind Gausman for the Blue Jays defensively, Yohendrick Pinongo gets the start in left field, Dalton Varsho in center, and Nathan Lucas is in right field. That means no Jesus Sanchez. Well, he's DHing. On the infield, Okamoto and Jimenez, Clement, and Guerrero is back at first base. Tyler Heineman slides in there for the day game to catch Gausman this afternoon.
The Marlins at 26-30. They had won 4 in a row until the loss last night. They won 8-2 on a Monday night. The Blue Jays winning 8-1 last night. Blue Jays would love to win this series before they get on the plane and get ready to take on a divisional rival in the Baltimore Orioles, who, by the way, it appears are going to start Chris Bassett in the series. Looks like they juggled their rotation a little bit, and it looks like Bassett may get the start in the opening game of the series tomorrow night. More on that later, but first, it's Xavier Edwards, the second baseman. A switch hitter batting .306, who looks at a fastball in for a strike. Edwards 1 for 8 so far in the series. He doubled in his first at bat on Monday night, came around to score, has not had a hit since. Fastball fouled back, 0-2. And you see 95 early from Gausman. Sometimes it's a build-up to get there, but throw a 95 here in the first inning today. Yeah, on Kids Day, you gotta, it's a little hard to hear sometimes. So they're using PitchCom, but you could see Gausman to cover his left ear. There's just a different kind of noise here at the ballpark on school day.
Kids screaming, perhaps? Is that what's different?
Every pop-up looks like a 9-run homer. Everything is exciting. Split taken low. That's a good spot for Gausman and a good take by Edwards. There are the numbers Joe was talking about, how good he was against the Tigers and then the Pirates. Popped up foul, third base side, and it's going to wind up in the seats.
Couldn't get Edwards on either one of those splitters, so he went right back to the fastball, and this is where Kevin is trusting his stuff, and that's why I alluded to just the 1 walk in his last 2 starts against 13 strikeouts.
And we mentioned they can be aggressive, the Marlins, but they can be difficult. They can foul off a lot of pitches, put pitches in play. Scherzer, Savage among those looking on. Everybody's got the sunglasses on here this afternoon.
Not sure if Edwards felt something or he just wanted a little time there.
Again, the 2-2, and another foul off by Edwards. And if you're a left-handed batter, or in the case of Edwards, a switch hitter, as George Springer looks on, he is not in the lineup today. You rarely see a slider as a lefty, so Edwards could really focus on 2 pitches. Saw the splitter again there and fouled it off again.
And you can see the target from Tyler Heineman. The previous pitch was a fastball. He gave the high target. This pitch was a splitter, and he gave the high target again. So you don't want to give anything away. He's being consistent with that. Oh, pitch com's not working. Looks like they're going fastball away.
You know, this is an at-bat where Clayton McCullough might be turning to the people around him and saying this is already a win. Even if he doesn't get on base, he has already made Gausman throw 8 pitches.
And they're having some troubles.
Yeah. Can't hear.
He might just go back to the fingers. Let's see. Sure he is.
Yep.
That's a splitter. Splitter down. Get it down there, he's telling you.
Down and away, another good take by Edwards. This is a terrific at bat to lead off a game for a pretty young hitter. (3-2), and he lines it into the right field corner. Edwards has very good speed on his way to second, and in there well ahead of the throw from Lucas. Boy, what an at bat to start the game for the Marlins.
Anytime you have an at bat against Kevin Gausman, you're laying off some tough splitters and you wait around for that fastball and get it, you got to give credit to the hitter. This time they tried to come inside with it, but he cleared it out of there in a hurry.
Earlier in the at bat, Gausman made some pitches where generally he would get a chase or maybe get some weak contact, but either Edwards didn't chase or fouled it off. And now here's Liam Hicks, 1 for 8, had an infield hit a couple of nights ago. On the season, 269, 11 homers. And that's ball 1. You can see Heineman thought just for a moment about maybe challenging it, but this early in the game decided against it. And he lays off. He checks his swing on a splitter, and so far the Marlins, and it's very, very early, but they have not been going after the splitters down.
I don't know about you, Dan, but it puts my antlers up right away from the opposing hitters. Do they have something on Gausman's splitter? It's very early to think that, but those are some good takes.
Now a fastball popped up for Jimenez. So what you're saying is, are they picking up something? And Kevin has talked about this openly. Pete Walker has as well. Is there something that Gausman may be doing which reveals to the hitter which pitch is coming?
It could be where you come set with your hands. It could even be when you bring your hands together. Is your hand slightly higher when you go in your glove with a fastball, a little lower with the splitter? All of those things. So many things can go on, and so many teams now have so much video on everyone. It's not to say that they're on him, but when I see good takes against Kevin Gausman's splitters, see how his hands come up there. He's got the hands high right now, really hiding them in behind him on the backside of the mound.
Which is different. If you looked at how he sets up a couple of weeks ago, maybe that's a little bit different. It does look like he's kind of curling that glove more towards the right side of his body,
and it's
keeping it very close,
normally near his belt.
This is inside. It's 2-0 on Otto Lopez. Edwards the lead. And a fastball catches the outside corner. 2-1.
Edwards is a guy that will run, and my thought was you got to really keep an eye on him there, but it's probably you're a little less likely when you're the leadoff hitter getting on and you've got your good hitters coming up immediately. So the last thing you want to do is gamble too much.
Clement trying to keep him somewhat close over at second. 2-1 now, and a splitter swung on and fouled off. 2-2. I tell you, on school day when the scoreboard says get loud, they listen here. They don't need any extra encouragement.
I hope they're listening to their teachers this well.
How'd you like to be a chaperone here today? Fastball up is fouled back. It remains 2-2, and Lopez now a deep at bat, making Gausman throw a fair number of pitches. Kevin already up to 18 pitches here. Facing a guy who's got the highest batting average in the major leagues. Reaches for it and hits it up the middle into center for a base hit, and the Marlins will take a 1-0 lead.
Well, if that isn't Otto Lopez this season in a nutshell, just a very good contact hitter, and he puts the bat to the baseball. He hits a lot of ground balls, but this one finds the hole. This is off the plate away, this splitter, but finds the open area there behind second base.
Not trying to do too much. Put it in play, found a hole, drives in a run, and a 1-0 lead for the visitors. Here's Kyle Stowers, the left fielder and the cleanup hitter. He has been the cleanup hitter in all 3 games here in this series, hitting just .210, 3 homers on the year.
Now, without a runner on second, just first, it looks like Kevin is coming together now with the hands lower. So
right.
That was something to guide against the runner on second, seeing his grip.
Out in front of Stowers, 0-2. Lopez a threat to run. He's got 8 steals and 11 tries. And the Marlins as a team lead the majors in stolen bases. So as a group, they've got a very aggressive mindset. Not going, and it's fouled off. Up to 97 on that fastball. Edwards got it started with that graded bat. Took some good ones, fouled off some good ones. The Marlins have already fouled off 9 of the 22 pitches that Gausman has thrown.
Well, we've seen through Kevin's journey in his career, he was a much more of a strikeout pitcher over a number of years there, and that's come down a little bit over the last 3 years. So as you get a little bit older, not quite getting the swing and miss, he's got to pitch a little bit more.
Runner goes, swing and a miss, throw down, not in time. So Stowers strikes out. Lopez steals second.
Well, it's a splitter down in the zone, always the tough one for a catcher to come up with, because you have to wait, receive that ball. Tyler does all he can to get rid of it as quickly as he can, but not in time to get Lopez at second.
So 2 down, and here's the center fielder, Jacob Marcy.
I'm sure
it needs a moment.
Sure, we'll see Kevin again now with this runner on second. It's something to just keep an eye on with him when he comes set. I'm guessing it's going to be like it was earlier with the runner on second. Right. Higher glove, tucked away a little bit, just really trying to hide that grip. When you're predominantly a 2-pitch pitcher, if you pick up anything with a grip, it's 50-50. It's pretty easy.
And there it is again, up closer to his right shoulder as opposed to down at the belt. Splitter for a strike.
Now, as soon as he takes the hand out of glove, you can see that splitter grip, but that might be a little late for the runner on second to relay anything. But these are the things throughout Kevin's career that he's had to deal with, because we've seen when teams have him, they can get him pretty good.
And to be fair, every team tries to gain an advantage, and every team tries to prevent the other team from gaining an advantage. It's just part of baseball.
You're studying pitchers, every single pitch grip. Runners on second, runners on first, no runners on, always trying to gain an edge.
Lopez the lead. Gausman will look back at him. And the 0-2 to Marcy is off the outside corner, ball 1. In a game last year down in Miami, Gausman started it for the Blue Jays. The Marlins won it. They're 1-0 in the series. Marcy cleared the bases with a triple to left center. Wouldn't chase that one down and in. 2-2. Marcy will ask for time. They've gotten a run, and they've made Gausman throw 27 pitches already.
Running out of time here. He's going to have to get rid of the baseball.
So a disengagement. That's the second disengagement. That's why Heidemann stepped out to prevent a ball from being added to the count.
You can see Kevin was off the pitching rubber trying to listen. He couldn't hear it, and by the time he got it and stepped on the pitching rubber, that clock was going down.
2-2. Got him with a fastball on the outside corner. Strikes out the last two here in the top of the first, but the Marlins do have an early run. Bottom of the first, and not only is Nathan Lucas back in the lineup, he is the leadoff hitter here this afternoon. It's a day for George Springer, so all four of the left-hand hitting outfielders are in the lineup. Jesus Sanchez is the DH today, with Lucas, Varsho, and Pinango all being in the outfield. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is back in the lineup as well, and they will face a guy 6'8" with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. But look at the results, ups and downs for Yuri Perez.
Perez is just 23 years old, a native of the Dominican Republic. He's in his third season. He missed all of 2024 after getting Tommy John surgery. 3-6 with a 4.91 ERA this season in his 11 starts. He's really battled consistency, but very good last time out. Pitched into the 7th inning against the Mets, allowing just 1 run. Walks have certainly been an issue. That's something the Blue Jays will have to really zone him in here this afternoon.
Nathan Lucas came off the IL on Monday and picked up right where he left off before he went on the IL about a month ago with a hamstring injury. He went 3 for 4 Monday. Also, unfortunately, was hit in the helmet by a pitch, but fortunately is okay. Fastball in there. Lucas is 14 for his last 25, going back to before the hamstring injury. So with Springer not in the lineup, Lucas a very good choice to man the leadoff spot for John Schneider today. Perez out in front, 1-2. Throws mostly the 4-seam fastball. That was the 2-seamer there. You could see it running away from Lucas a little bit. As Joe mentioned, command can be an issue. And when he gets into trouble, sometimes has a little bit of trouble getting himself out of that trouble. That is just low, and it's 2-2. They're really playing Lucas to pull, and against this velocity, you could see Nathan Lucas slapping one down the left field line, maybe. Not on that pitch. That's a slider that winds up inside, and now it's full.
The sinker is a relatively new pitch for him, and we'll see how much he uses it. But with high velocity and spinning the baseball the way he does, we've seen this give Blue Jays hitters troubles.
Swing and a miss at a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Out number 1. So Guerrero is back, and again probably not 100% yet after missing the last couple of games following getting hit on the right elbow. But it's a day for Springer, and everybody's dealing with something right now. Vladdy back in the lineup, hitting .287, 3 homers, 22 RBIs. Up and in, ball 1. I don't know if Perez was just touching his hat there, or if he was trying to tell his catcher, please challenge that pitch. I mean, a pitcher can challenge it himself too if he wants to. Bounced foul, 1-1. Nobody in the Blue Jay lineup today has ever had a hit off Perez. Now, they haven't seen a ton of them, but the Blue Jays in the lineup who have seen Perez before are a collective 0 for 15, now 0 for 16 after the Lucas strikeout. To left center field, and that streak is over as Guerrero is aboard with a 1-out single. And a chance now to give you a look at the lineup today. Again, a day for springers. So Lucas is up top. Guerrero is back. Varsho hitting third. Jesus Sanchez with a grand slam yesterday. And what a homestand he is having. Okamoto, Piñango, Ernie Clement, who was homered in 2 in a row. And then Andres Jimenez and Tyler Heidemann rounding it out. Here's Varsho, and that'll come in just high for ball 1. Varsho went 2 for 4 with a walk in last night's game.
Yuri Perez does not do a good job holding runners on. Opposing base runners have been 17 for 17. So is this a day that a team that does not run a whole lot maybe tries to take advantage of that?
What about Hicks behind the plate?
And not so good either. And sometimes it can be a reflection of a pitching staff that's not holding runners very well. But Liam Hicks has not had a lot of success, partly because of that throwing out runners.
Oh, was Vladdy leaning right there. By the way, very quietly, Vladimir Guerrero has 4 stolen bases in 5 tries already this year, so don't count him out.
Well, he will do it. I think Mark Budzinski is in his ear right now, because this is a combination that they can certainly take advantage of.
There he goes. And it is fouled off by Varsho. 2-2. And we asked John Schneider this question today. It seems fairly often lately when a runner's been stealing, the hitter's been swinging, and the pitch has been fouled off. Do they ever give the hitter the take sign? Is it harder? And he mentioned what you mentioned, for a left-handed batter like Varsho, it's harder to see that runner going.
Don't necessarily know he is going. If it's the first pitch of an batter, before you get a strike, you'd like to see them take that pitch to allow him to hopefully get in scoring position. But you can't take a pitch with 1 strike to get to a 2-strike count.
And the hitter may not know the runner is going.
That's the thing. It's not always a steal sign from the third base coach. If he's given certain guys a green light, they just might go on their own if they get that right jump.
Now this is different. It's 3-2, 1 out, and I often ask you, do you think the runner will be going? Varsho does strike out a fair bit. Perez has a big arm. Vladdy is running. It is strike 3 called, and Guerrero is into second with a stolen base. So out number 2, but Vladdy into scoring position with his 5th on the season.
Well, I think they go in that situation because they feel like regardless of what happens at the plate, they can be pretty successful. And it's a little breaker, a little slider that came back and caught lots of the plate and just fooled Dalton as it froze him.
And it's a bit of a different kind of jump than he got earlier in the count, but the throw from Hicks tailed well to the first base side of the bag. And Guerrero was able to get in there fairly easily. So here's Sanchez, the former Marlin, who in addition to the grand slam also doubled in yesterday's game and is hitting .409 in his last 16 games. He is the team leader in OPS at .786. He had a great line in his interview after the game with Hazel last night. Hazel asked him about playing in front of a crowd of 42,000 and what it means to him, and he had that big Sanchez smile on his face. He was so happy, and his last words to Hazel were, "Please come again tomorrow." And Jesus, they did.
It was so sincere.
It was
so funny.
Yeah. There's a real, I don't know if innocence is the right word, but you know what I mean? Like just he's a different kind of guy, but boy is he happy to be a big league ball player. And you've seen the smile in the box, you've seen the smile everywhere, and we certainly saw it during his interview with Hazel last night.
And you can certainly see that power potential that attracted the Blue Jays to Sanchez.
Pulls it foul. It's 2-2. He kind of sold out on a first pitch fastball from Alcantara when he hit the grand slam. He knows Alcantara, and he said, "I thought he would try to get me up and in with a fastball." That's where the pitch was, and he jumped him. Guerrero out at second, 2 down, 1-0 Marlins. Down Down low, and it's now full. Okamoto is on deck. Sanchez trying to keep it going, knock Vladdy in. Continue this inning one way or another.
Certainly looks like he'll use both those breakables, the slider and sweeper, all over. He might go down and in, might try to backdoor it like the way he got Varsho.
And he gets Sanchez with a high fastball. He strikes out 3 in the inning, and it's still 1-0 Miami.
When injuries have plagued the starting rotation, manager John Schneider said it is a luxury to have a veteran right-hander who takes the ball every 5 days and just plain old gets to work. And that's exactly what Kevin Gausman has done since day 1 as a member of the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, Gausman has been as dependable as they come after signing a 5-year, $110 million deal. He's made at least 30 starts in each of those seasons, and on track, as you see, for 32 this year, not to mention sporting an ERA in the 3s since he's been with Toronto. Tyler Heineman observes Gausman after each start and credits his durability to a strict regimented routine between outings. Heineman recalls a conversation he had with Gausman a couple weeks ago where the right-hander jokingly complained of sometimes being bored with all the repetition involved. Guys who consistently make their starts, Dan, Heineman explained, are fiercely dedicated to their routines. That is why his stuff plays and his body able to withstand the rigors of a long season. Guys.
Hazel, thank you. Joe, you and I watched part of that routine a couple of days ago. It was the day where Gausman was going to throw his bullpen between starts, and he has a long toss program where he is out on the warning track, kind of in right center field, a bit to the right of straightaway center field. And he is playing catch. On that day, it was with Luis Hurtado, one of the bullpen catchers for the Blue Jays, who was standing on the foul line in the left field corner. I don't know how long of a throw that is, other than it's really long. And they were going back and forth, and Hurtado, who's got a very good arm, he's one of the BP pitchers for the Blue Jays as well, needed a bounce to get it to Gausman. Gausman was throwing it on the fly, and not only that, most of the time Hurtado didn't even have to move his feet to catch the throw. That had to have been coming from a couple of 100 feet away. This one very high in the air, deep but playable, and Varsho makes the catch. I heard at least one, maybe 2 people saying, I got it, I got it. Definitely Varsho was calling for it. And let's all remember, Piñango has been told, be aggressive after what's happened. But as soon as you hear the center fielder call you off, you got to get out of the way.
Let's hear. So they're both calling it. It sounded like Varsho first, but then we heard Piñango, but that's a good job by Varsho taking over. You can see how this happens in the outfield. You've got 2 guys yelling at the same time. You can't hear one another. Those are the challenges, not to mention the crowd noise going on out there in left center field.
On school day.
On school day. And the stadium noise, but a nice job. That's Dalton Varsho, the center fielder right there. Really took charge. It did not stop or go away from that ball whatsoever.
I'm guessing Piñango didn't hear him, because if you're a corner outfielder, as soon as you hear the center fielder, you peel off, and he never peeled off. Like Piñango would have caught that ball if Varsho hadn't been there. This is going to be a work in progress. It's a different outfield group than they have had in the past. And remember, Piñango has come under criticism for not being aggressive enough a couple of times recently, so you know he maybe wants to overcompensate a little bit in the other direction.
That's exactly what's gone on there. And you can see it from a young player like Piñango. He's basically made a few mistakes, some very costly. So the last thing he's going to do now is not go for a baseball.
And he didn't take his eye off the ball. He didn't look to Varsho. At the beginning, it was all great. Go for the ball, go for the ball, go for the ball. And maybe he didn't hear Varsho. That's something we have no way of knowing. Fortunately, they didn't collide.
Yeah, that could have been a lot uglier than it was.
Up and away, and it's 3-2 on Owen Casey, who did not play in last night's game, but went 2 for 4 with a couple of RBIs on Monday night. Swings through a fastball away, 2 down.
Well, Kevin can mix it up pretty good. Anytime a hitter's got that splitter on the mind, that four-seamer gets on them in a hurry and away as well.
Strikeouts are brought to you by Subway. Get 25% off any footlong on game days. Order in the Subway app using code STRIKEOUT. Two down. Here's Christopher Morel, the first baseman, hitting just 161. Part-time guy for the Marlins right now. He's got parts of 5 years in the big leagues with the Cubs and Rays before coming to Miami. And had a couple of pretty good years. Hit 26 home runs in 2023 between the Cubs and the Rays. But the numbers have been going down. Never a guy who has hit for much of an average. Much more of a power guy than an average guy. This is pop foul, 1-2. Gausman would love a 3-up, 3-down inning after having to throw all those pitches in the first. And again, that's a good splitter. That's where he wants it. So give Morel a little bit of credit for just getting a piece of it. Now he gets him. It is a 3-up, 3-down inning, and Gausman's already got 4 strikeouts through 2 for the last 5 hitters he has faced. In fact, 1-0 Marlins going to the bottom of the second. Well, the pressure is on in Montreal. The Habs are in need of a win on home ice against Carolina, with the Hurricanes up 2-1 in that series. You can catch Game 4 tonight. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Sportsnet. Bottom 2, 1-0 Marlins. Here's Kazuma Okamoto. And Yuri Perez starts him with a slider for a strike. Okamoto with 215, 10 homers. He went 1 for 4, was also hit by a pitch yesterday. He'll be followed by Yohendrick Pinango and then Ernie Clement. Just inside, ball 2.
And I'm sure Perez has issues with that command at times. Being 6'8", it's hard to sync all that up consistently and get to the desired release point every time.
On the appeal, he went, says Doug Eddings down at first, so it's 2-2.
Looked like a decent pitch anywhere. There's that good sinker down and in.
And Perez is only 23.
Yeah.
This is his 3rd year in the big leagues, not counting the year he missed because of Tommy John. That's definitely in, 3-2.
It's kind of an effortless 98 to 101, isn't it? Long limbs, get some good arm speed developing.
Fouled back by Okamoto to stay alive.
6'8" with him, some extension down the mound. I'm sure it looks like he's handing the ball over to the catcher sometimes.
And again, Okamoto stays alive. That's a fastball outside corner at the knees, coming in at 100 miles an hour. Almost all fastballs in this at bat. And another one will get him. That's 4 strikeouts already for Perez.
Well, interesting that you see a lot of the fastballs after those couple of sliders, because we know in watching Okamoto he has struggled more with breaking pitches, but clearly the Marlins think that they can just run it by him, and that's exactly what they did.
Now Piñango, who went 1 for 4, including his second major league home run in last night's game, hit it out just to the right of straightaway center field, and he gets a look at a changeup. He was geared up for 99. He got 91.
Boy, that's a really good changeup too. When the arm speed looks the same, you're gearing up for the triple digits, and located perfectly outside.
So he's got a 4-seamer, a 2-seamer, a slider, a sweeper, and a changeup. He's got a lot of different pitches he can try.
Mixes in an occasional curveball too.
2 balls and a strike, and it looks like the game plan against Piñango is maybe not to throw him a lot of fastballs, although that can change. Fouled off, 2-2. That was a fastball down at the knees, and he's locating pretty well right now.
Here are the Marlins calling the pitches from the bench. The coaches are calling the pitches, directing the catcher what to put into pitch comm. They've got all of the data and everything in their hands in the dugout. They've got a tough customer at the plate here. And it's interesting. John Schneider was asked about this the other day, and he thought that, you know, that's something that he could see continuing on throughout the game to many other teams. Now, the only issue I have with it is you're not behind the plate. You don't know exactly what his sweeper's doing, what his slider's doing, what's the spin on that pitch, how is the changeup coming out, is it looking deceptive? You can have all of the numbers and data on the bench, but as a catcher behind the plate, I'm the one that can tell you between innings how things are coming out, but you need to make decisions pitch to pitch back there if you're a catcher. So to me, the in-game calling, that's the brains behind the operation. That's the most important job a catcher has.
He strikes him out. He went back to the changeup, put it in a good spot again, and he's gotten 5 outs in this game. They've all been strikeouts.
We talked to Warren Schaefer, the Rockies manager, when they were here earlier this season. Remember, the Marlins were the first team to do this, calling pitches from the bench. The Rockies have adopted it as well. And his explanation to me was much like what Clayton McCullough was saying, is that it's helping them if they have young catchers. It's taking a little bit of the load and stress off of their plate so they can focus on hitting. They can focus on their receiving because there is so much information in the game. But I still have a hard time. I like suggestions, and they'll certainly tell you that they don't have to call the pitch that's being called, but I can promise you, if you don't do it on a consistent basis, you're probably going to hear about it.
Perez jumps out in front of Ernie Clemento in 2. Ernie comes in on a 9-game hitting streak. Homered last night, homered the night before as well. Lifts this one in the air to right center field. Marcy, the center fielder, is there. And that's that for the Blue Jays. 1-0 Marlins at the end of 2. Couple of hours before the game, Max Scherzer took the mound to throw basically a 2-inning simulated game, and he threw to various members of the Blue Jays staff who were players a little bit earlier on. That's Drew Butera, who spent 12 years in the big leagues as a catcher, now is the catching coach. Looked like he got a double to right center off him. This is Gosuke Katoh, who played 8 games in the majors, all with the Blue Jays back in 2022. He's in the baseball ops department. He just couldn't keep that one fair. And ignore the jersey here. This is Luke Hoey, whose title is Coordinator of Pitching Game Planning, part of the pitching staff. He was a pitcher in college, and he was extremely proud of the fact that he managed to foul a pitch off from Scherzer. We were up here in the booth as that was going on in the field. I'm not sure I've heard more grown men laugh more. It was, I mean, Scherzer was getting his work in, but they all know each other. They're all friends. And so now you've got guys with, you know, in Butera, a fair bit of major league experience, but Drew's 42 years old. Gosuke Katoh is only 31. Luke's even younger than that, but he was a pitcher in college, wasn't a hitter. And they're up there taking their hacks on Max Scherzer, who was Like he was getting after it. This
yeah.
was important. And everybody claimed victory after. Max claimed victory. The other guys claimed victory. Luke Hoey in particular seemed awfully proud. I saw him down the left field line. He had his phone out. And he's showing pictures, I think, of the foul ball as proudly as I show pictures of my grandson. Like this is, this was a big moment for Luke Hoey. So a good time was had by all. But on the serious side, Max Scherzer got some work in and came out of it feeling good.
A very popular event indeed. I think we could have charged admission here this afternoon because we had a pretty good view up here, and it was a lot of fun to watch. Competition, lots of work getting put in, but also some good times. Did you happen to see Pete Walker ring him up?
Yes.
Good call. He's trying to be a major league umpire.
Yeah,
one day,
Pete's got a good third strike call and a good loud voice.
Now, if I'm hitting, I don't want the pitching coach being the umpire behind. That's just way unfair.
Here's Graham Pauley leading off the third. Okamoto is fighting the sun. It's going to wind up just over the screen, but I think both times Okamoto's gone over to third, I'm not sure he's been able to see that ball up in the sky. He's got his sunglasses, but they're not on his eyes right now.
I don't think he saw this one right here. He's not catching this ball if it lands in the field of play. So he's either got to get the glasses covering his eyes or really use that glove to block the sun.
Grounded up the middle, well positioned Jimenez. One down. So what's next for Max Scherzer? Well, we talked to Max a couple of days ago, and he said if things went well today, what he is hoping to do is then pitch in a minor league rehab game Sunday. Just 4 days from now, and he did 2 simulated innings today. He's hoping to get 3 innings in Sunday, and then it would do another one 5 or 6 days after that, building up to say 4 innings and 60 pitches, and then see where he's at. So it's not imminent that he is back, but if things go well, you know, ballpark 2 to 3 weeks maybe before Max Scherzer is able to rejoin the team.
He certainly seems like he could ramp up quickly. Just those 2 innings here today, he was talking about doing lots when he gets back there. So that'll be interesting to see what kind of path they forge going forward.
And obviously they are thin in the rotation right now with Scherzer on the IL. Bieber has started his rehab, pitched in a rookie ball game 3 days ago, expected to pitch on the weekend, I believe, for Dunedin. Dylan Cease, they're hoping it is just a 15-day IL stint and that it will only miss 2 starts. But they've got the Spencer Miles and company day that they had last night. And again, as great as Miles has been, he's only able to give them, 60-some pitches right now. But he has been fantastic. And then they need a starter for Friday in Baltimore. And there was a roster move today. Tanner Andrews, who made his first 2 major league appearances the last 2 nights, wouldn't have been able to pitch today. They've sent him back down. And they have recalled Austin Voth to the big leagues as you get a look at Miles. Chilling in the pen, although he's not going to be used today, obviously. Austin Voth, who was up earlier, is back, and he's a guy, Joe, who if for whatever reason they had a need, could go out there and give him 3 or 4 innings.
Yeah, get that bulk out of the bullpen in case things go sideways early. You don't want to be using any of your leverage guys to eat up innings.
Ball 4 as Edwards walks. Let's go to Hazel.
In more news for the Toronto Blue Jays, they've acquired right-hander Connor Siebold from the Detroit Tigers in exchange for left-hander Juanmi Vasquez. Also, Jose Barrios has been transferred, Dan, to the 60-day IL. So Connor Siebold back with the Blue Jays. We saw him earlier this spring. Guys?
Hazel, thank you. Yeah, with the Blue Jays in the spring, and then had a clause in his contract if he's not on the major league roster, he can opt out and try to cut another deal. There goes the runner. Here's the throw from Heineman. The tag, safe is the call. Boy, that was a great effort by Jimenez on a throw that bounced, and he almost got it down on him in time. Will the Blue Jays challenge this? They will. Boy, I'll tell you, if they get this overturned, Andres Jimenez, well, he made a whale of a play anyways, but if this turns into an out.
Toronto was challenging to save Paul at second base.
Well, we said the Marlins do run a lot, and this would be a day you would do it with Kevin Gausman on the mound, but that is as close as it gets. What a play by Jimenez. He picks this ball. He's got to come up to get it. Then he slaps that tag down as quickly as possible.
Oof.
Looks like he got him, but will there be enough to overturn it?
Glove on him there, and the hand does not appear to be on the bag yet, but it is close.
Are they going to need to see some daylight?
A very high percentage of even big league infielders, their glove comes up when they catch that ball, but he's so good he can kind of get out in front of it and have the glove coming down when he catches it.
It's how quickly he brings it down after catching the baseball that made this even a play. If you didn't know the call on the field, you would probably say out right there. But since the call is safe, they're going to need to see some daylight. I think it's certainly worth challenging.
Remind me to ask somebody if the oven mitts they wear in the bases are a standard length.
Yes.
Remember goalie equipment some years ago? They had to conform because it was getting, it was getting out of hand. I wonder if.
Now this one does not look extra long or anything, but we've seen some pretty big oven mitts, and you can gain inches. That's the difference in a play like this.
The crew chief is Doug Eddings. He is on the right. He'll be the one giving us the call.
If they have one angle that shows a little daylight between the hand and the base, this is going to get overturned. We haven't seen that, but we know in New York they have a few more angles.
And there's what they're looking at. Here we go.
After review, the call stands. Runner safe. Toronto loses his challenge.
It's a good challenge. It was worth doing. And I agree with you. I think he was out, but the call on the field sometimes or often can be the determining factor. And that's where the explanation will be could not definitively determine that the tag was applied before the hand hit the bag. So the call stands. Blue Jays lose their challenge. Runner at second, one out, and a 1-0 count on Liam Hicks. Just to finish up on Hazel's story about Connor Siebold, so opted out of his deal, made a deal with the Tigers, but now is back with the Blue Jays. Jose Barrios goes on the 60-day IL, but obviously Barrios is out for the season. For people who may have seen in the Tanner Andrews Austin of Oath move that Alejandro Kirk went on the 60-day IL, don't worry about that at all. That is just a procedural thing. He's already about 53 days into the 60 days, and he's not coming back in the next 7 days. Maybe in the next 14, but he's not coming back in the next 7. It's just a paper move to open up a spot on the 40-man roster. There has not been any setback for Kirk.
The 60 goes back to the start of the season, right?
To when he was injured.
To when
Kirk's
to
case, to when his 60-day stint began, which is pretty close to the beginning of the season. So John Schneider saying today he hopes that Kirk might be in rehab games in about a week. Ball 4. Hicks will take a walk, and that's 2 walks given up in the inning by Gausman. And as you pointed out at the near the start of the game, Gausman has hardly walked anybody this year.
Missing arm side with some of those pitches. Did the same thing to Edwards.
Now Otto Lopez, probably the toughest out in this lineup, had an RBI single his first time up. A major league leading batting average. Didn't go. It's ball 1. And Gausman behind 2-0.
Losing a bit of feel here this inning after striking out a pair in the second.
Got the first batter, Paulie, to ground out, then back-to-back walks. That's in there, 2-1. And back out of play, 2-2. Lopez hit 246 last year. He's at 333 now. No hitter in baseball has increased his batting average from his final number last year to his current number this year more than Otto Lopez.
And got some pop in that bat too, right? Some sneaky pop.
15 home runs a year ago, 4 so far this year. Shoots it to right field. It's a base hit. Lucas has it. Edwards will be held. And now they had a runner between second and third, but Hicks will get back. He had gone halfway to third thinking Edwards was going to score. So a good play by Lucas to get to it quickly, a good throw, and although it's another hit, the Marlins don't score on the play.
Well, I think the stop sign went up right away from the third base coach because the ball was hit hard, and Nathan Lucas does a very nice job receiving the ball. He's got a good accurate arm, but look at the runner rounding second. Tyler Heineman, that throw comes home and your first reaction is to look at the runner at third base, but Nathan Lucas has an arm now that the league is respecting a little bit. They're not going to try to challenge that, and that's exactly why. But see, Heineman's going to like to think about tagging a runner right there. When you're looking as a catcher to right field receiving the throw, you're blinded. You can't see if that runner was waved home or not, so you're thinking about catching the ball and applying the tag. He went to do it, but nobody was there. That little lapse didn't allow him to see the runner rounding second too far.
So the bases are loaded. There's still just one out, and now the batter is Kyle Stowers. Gausman struck him out in the first. A splitter taken low for ball one. Without question, if you look at the numbers, it's the top 3 hitters in the Marlins lineup who by far have been their best hitters. There's a drop off after Lopez. Ground ball to second. Clement to Jimenez to Guerrero. They turn it. Gausman is not a huge ground ball guy, but he got one at a huge spot here, and the infield did the rest. The Marlins do not score. Fans, on Friday, June 12th, the Blue Jays will bring some of Toronto's World Cup soccer excitement to the ballpark. The first 15,000 fans will receive an Andres Jimenez replica soccer jersey. And take note, a bit of a later start time. First pitch at 7:37 p.m. Get your tickets now at BlueJays.com. That is part of the next homestand for the Blue Jays, and it's a long one. 3 teams coming in. Interesting homestand: the Orioles, the Phillies, and the Yankees. And here is Jimenez to lead off the bottom of the third against Yuri Perez. Swings over the top of it, 0-2. Perez, through 2 innings, has struck out 5 already. The only base runner for the Blue Jays, a single by Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in the first. Lined up the middle and into center. It's a base hit for Jimenez. Are you a Rogers customer? It's Canada's winning inning. When the Blue Jays get a hit this inning, you could win big with Rogers Beyond the Scene. I think they call that a nice piece of 2-strike hitting right there.
Absolutely, especially when you can stay on an off-speed pitch like that, off the plate away with that changeup, stays through it.
Let's see if Tyler Heineman is in a bunting mood. I think there's a chance. Fouls it back, 0-1.
Tyler hitting the bat right there, and you can see, I think in general he has pretty good technique and he's a pretty good bunter, but that was not the best effort right there. He's trying to run out of there. He jabs at it with his bat. you really have to sell out on this and give yourself up.
So square earlier, right?
Earlier,
Yeah.
stick your nose in there, create the angle, and don't change the angle of the bat.
That one will go foul, though, 2, and now it's 0-2.
When you have to move up or down for a pitch, you want to come down by using your legs. You don't want to move the bat. And that time you could see he just clearly bunted the top of the baseball and went straight down.
I would imagine this is probably a pretty tough guy to bunt against, too.
Yeah, and he's frustrated with himself. You can see it right now. He knows when you're the backup type catcher, you're hitting ninth, you have got to be able to get a bunt down. That is your role on this team. And he knows that. And that's what frustrates you when you don't execute something you're supposed to do.
Could keep it on with 2 strikes. Probably won't, but it's not a 0 chance that they will. Runner goes, and it is popped up. The catcher Hicks now finds it, but it's back in the seats. So they do not keep the bunt on. Obviously, Heineman's got to swing at anything close. He's got 2 strikes on him. Jimenez was running on the play.
In 0-2, maybe you're anticipating one of the secondary pitches, maybe something in the dirt, trying to get Heineman to chase. That'd be a great pitch to run on, but it was in the zone.
You rarely, if ever, see pitch outs anymore, but this might be the timing for it if the Marlins think he's going. He wasn't going.
It wasn't a pitch out, but it looked a little bit like one.
Kind of a half pitch out.
It was a sinker away, up and away.
Is that a call, though? Like, just throw one, not a pitch out, but throw one just to give Hicks a head start and getting out there. And
I could call a fastball away, but there's not a call that says, not when I played, when I call a fastball away, that's a mini pitch out.
Jimenez running. The pitch is swung on and missed. And Jimenez is called out at second base. And the Blue Jays don't have a challenge. Remember, they tried one earlier and it did not work, so there is nothing they can do here. Jimenez is out, 2 down.
You see Hicks comes out of there really well, can cheat a little bit. Another nice pick. Oh boy. Good tag by Lopez, but it looks like the hand may have been in there before the glove got him.
But again, nothing the Blue Jays can do. They lost their challenge on the earlier play. So what looked like a promising inning at the beginning is now 2 outs and nobody on. Back around to the top for Nathan Lucas. And not to belabor the point, but if you go back to the Heineman bunt, if he gets it down, you don't have to try to steal. Now you got runner at second, 1 out, and Lucas up. Very different situation.
Execution. Managers talk about it all of the time. Fundamental baseball, playing the game the way it's supposed to be played. Liam Hicks did a really nice job with that pitch, too, getting the ball down to second base in a hurry.
Looking into the dugout for the pitch selection again. Swung on and missed. Another strikeout for Perez, who has been overpowering at times in this game. 7 Ks through 3. Some Blue Jays were out doing work on the infield, and it's interesting who it was. That's Miles Straw at second base, and Miles did play a little second and short very early in his major league career with Houston. And sometimes guys are just messing around, but we watched it for a while. This was not messing around, and not only was Straw at second, Brandon Valenzuela, who has started 59 games in the minors at first base, he was out doing some work with Carlos Fabulous as well. And if you look at the Blue Jays roster, it's kind of leaning heavily towards outfielders, a little bit thin in the infield. Also, remember, Sosa got hit on the hand. Some guys are banged up right now, and this is just, just in case they have an injury or a need, just trying to get guys more comfortable if they have to put them in a spot they're not all that familiar with.
Boy, you talk about the minutia and baseball fundamentals right there. Carlos Fabulous going deep into the details of flipping that ball underhand to a pitcher covering first base.
Jacob Marcy hits a two-hopper to second, and Clement will make the play. Remember, when Lucas came back, Davis Schneider went down to AAA, so they lost a guy who can play second base. They can get creative. You can move Ernie to short or third. You can put Okamoto at first. Sosa can play first, second, third, but again, Sosa's not 100% right now because of the hand, so don't be shocked if something weird happens and you see Straw at second or Valenzuela at first. As John Schneider said before the game, Miles Straw is kind of the backup everything on this team.
Yeah, and I think you put it a good way. You will see guys do that on the infield on occasion. They're having fun with it. They're kind of playing with their teammate, whatever. That was serious stuff we were watching this morning.
You know, and Valenzuela, who I think in many ways has already helped himself in the last couple of months, if he can be an option at first base, that can help him even more. There's Straw, who will obviously do whatever is asked of him, has from the day he got here. Look out. And it got him. That one grazes Norby. Down to Hazel.
I asked DeMarlo Hale about Miles Straw and Brandon Valenzuela, and he reminded me that Straw actually broke into the league as a shortstop with the Houston Astros. He played one inning for the Blue Jays in the infield against Seattle last season, and Valenzuela, as you mentioned, played a lot of first base in the minor leagues. Guys?
Hazel, thank you. You just can't have too many options, right? And you don't want to get stuck where you're in the middle of a game and you know, you're putting a pure outfielder who's never played in the infield before. A base hit into right field for Owen Casey. And Norby will make the turn and come to third.
It's a splitter from Gausman, who's up and out over the plate, and Casey gets out and around this ball and pulls it hard past Vladdy, and that's the difference when a first baseman is holding a runner on first. If there is no runner there, he's playing deeper, makes that play easily. Some hitters will do that. They'll try to hook that hole over there.
So the Marlins are threatening again. They had the bases loaded, one out last inning, and Gausman got out of it with a double play ball. Here's the number 8 hitter, Christopher Morel. Morel struck out in the second. Now 0-2. A big strikeout guy, as we have told you. Morel has a lot of swing and a miss in his game. Gausman now facing the number 8 hitter, Graham Pauley. Number 9 hitter is on deck as Gausman once again tries to get out of a jam. Splitter down, taken for ball 1. Now the 1-2. And a fastball up that Morel almost inadvertently got to and fouled it back. That ball was way up, and Gausman trying to get a chase.
It's like he wanted to, but then I think he was trying to get out of the way.
Would not bite on that one. It's 2-2. And now he gets him. A foul tip into the mid of Heineman, 2 down.
Reached back a little bit there, and Kevin just blew the fastball right by him. Morel gave him a tough at bat, laying off some tough pitches, couple foul tips.
So now can he get the number 9 hitter, Graham Pauley, to get out of this? He got Pauley on a ground ball in the 3rd. Ball 1. Paulie, 25 years of age, originally a draft pick of the San Diego Padres in the 13th round a few years back. Came over in a trade at the deadline 2 years ago. 1-1. Runner goes from first, and it's fouled back. 1-2. See, now that oven mitt, that looks long.
That's illegal. Should be illegal.
I'm going to ask tomorrow. I don't know the answer to it.
Owen Casey's not going to run much, but he will, and he was trying right there, maybe anticipating a splitter in the dirt, but that's where that mitt will come in handy. Looks a little more like a shoe.
Some relatively high-stress innings for Gausman. A lot of traffic. He's only allowed 1 run. Trying to keep it at that if he can get Paulie.
A lot of pitches.
Ahead 1-2. Outside. Norby at third, Casey at first. Casey goes, and it's popped up. Near the mound, Jimenez calls for it, makes the catch, and once again, Kevin Gausman gets out of it. Junior Jays, presented by your Ontario Honda dealers, returns to Rogers Center on Sunday, June 7th, and the fun will start outside. The Junior Jays outdoor program begins at 10:30 in the morning and runs up until first pitch. Arrive early for games, inflatables, mascot meet and greets, and live performers. Get your tickets at bluejays.com/promotions. Bottom 4, it is 1-0 Marlins. Yuri Perez has been very good. He's given up only 2 hits, one of them a single to this man, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Perez has not walked a batter, and he has struck out 7. Gets Guerrero to go after a slider down and away. It's 1-2.
That's what throwing that sinker inside to righties will do. It'll get them off that slider just enough. He went in there way inside for a ball, but that's how you get the swing and miss on the slider away. Make them aware of the inside part of the plate. He's done that against the righties today.
Guerrero fights off a fastball. After Guerrero, it'll be Varsho and Sanchez. To left field, and that's going to get down for a base hit in front of Stowers, and Guerrero's 2 for 2.
May have done him a bit of a favor by throwing the changeup. See that grip there? That's an off-speed pitch now that's coming in. Saw him come in hard earlier in the at-bat before going away with a couple breaking pitches. Fastball right down the middle, and then comes back changeup.
Guerrero stole a base last time he was on. Here's Varsho. The Marlins will pay a little bit more attention to him. Vladdy is 5 for 6 this season stealing bases. His career high is 8. Did that back in 2022. He's got a good lead. Up and away, ball one.
He's got a good lead, but he was still putting on his glove while he was leading off. You see this happen to a lot of guys. They get to first base, but with the pitch clock now, the pitcher's getting ready earlier. They're spending the first couple of pitches still putting their gloves on.
Two 2-0 on Varsho. Piñango getting ready for an at-bat he hopes comes here this inning. Guerrero not going, and Varsho lifts a fly ball to left. In comes Stowers, and he'll make the play for the first out. Here's Jesus Sanchez, who struck out in the first. That grand slam he hit last night, the first grand slam of his big league career. Got a change up there, and it's 0-1.
Well, you certainly see the stuff from Yuri Perez. If he can ever put it all together, still just 23 years old. Electric fastball, all kinds of secondary offerings.
Guerrero starts and stops, and on the appeal to third, the call from Gabe Morales is that Sanchez went, so it's 0-2. Three hits so far for the Blue Jays, all of them singles, two of them by Guerrero, still looking to get on the board. Well, Sanchez got a piece of that one up at the belt. He's got to protect right now, and Perez got him with a high fastball his first time up, trying to get a high fastball by him again.
That's the tough one to get to. Now, the home run last night, we talked about the grand slam. That's going up and cheating a little bit, looking in there, but now you're battling with two strikes.
Guerrero way out there and draws a throw. He had 2 or 3 hop steps, and it looked like he was bound for second.
He may have been trying to time him up, but you better be careful.
Not going, and it's ball one to Sanchez.
Some pitchers, when they come set, they'll peek over there. Some can't see the runners, some can see that movement just with their peripheral vision. I wonder if Perez saw that, and that's when he spun and threw over so fast.
Now, after every single pitch, Mark Budzinski is going over to Guerrero. Is he giving him Perez's time to the plate every single pitch, or is he just making sure Vladdy saw the sign from Carlos Fabulous and they're all on the same page?
I would say a little bit of both. I think they'll give him the time because pitchers will, their times to the plate will vary. And in the case of Perez, he can be 1.5, 1.6 a lot of times, but then he can quicken one up to about 1.4. And Budzinski could be talking to him right now about the way he is coming set and the way he's throwing over. Is he using a Bach move, or is he buckling that back knee before he throws over? Vladdy pointing to something right now.
Not going. And it's hit foul down the left side.
So after a few pitches, Budzinski might say, that's 3 in a row now. He's been over 1.5. So if you got the green light, feel free.
Does the first base coach ever go up to a runner and just say, go?
He could. He could. Take your shot. Maybe he was 1.6 for a couple of pitches. And 1.6 for a pitcher's time to the plate is not good. Almost anyone should be trying to steal with that. And what that is, of course, is the clock starts when he lifts his leg, and it stops when the ball enters the catcher's mitt.
Sanchez's reaction, which we have seen a lot in the past, but he just got a 77-mile-an-hour fast curveball that probably felt like it was about 27 after all the other pitches he's seen. Swung on and missed. Back he comes with 99 to get him for the second time.
Now that's why the context is very important. That's a very similar pitch to his grand slam pitch last night. But last night it was first pitch, bases loaded, pitchers on the ropes. I'm going to go in there and look. And when I use the word cheat, what I mean is they're gearing up to get to that pitch. You have to kind of open up and make sure you get the barrel there. 2 strikes, it's very different.
Okamoto gets hit right in the back. He appears to be okay. He's heading down to first. John Schneider did not have any problem with the 4 hit by pitches yesterday. They were all breaking balls and changeups, but he appears to be a little bit more bothered, Joe, by this one right here.
Well, and it looked like Perez was looking into the Blue Jays dugout. John Schneider gave a point. This one was nowhere close. But he heard something from the Blue Jays dugout, or he was just looking in the Blue Jays dugout, that prompted Schneider to be pointing out there.
So it's first and second, 2 down for Piñango. There's obviously no reason for him to throw at Okamoto. There's no reason for him to look into the dugout, if indeed he did. And that's exactly what John Schneider was saying. Yeah, don't look in here. Don't look in the dugout.
What are you looking at?
So it was more that than the hit by pitch, maybe, that bothered him.
Yeah. I mean, when you're leading 1-0 in a game like this with a runner at first and 2, you're doing the other team a favor by hitting somebody. You're putting base runners. So again, no intent. But sooner or later, it might be a little bit much for John Schneider and his club if guys keep getting drilled. But that's the first time it was a fastball. That's a little bit different for me. But still, I don't think he's trying to do that in this situation at all.
Now Perez has fallen behind Piñango 3-0. So let me ask you, you've got a young hitter, a good young hitter, who wants to drive in a run or 2 or 3. Do you let him swing away on this pitch?
I would give him the take sign. And the reason I'd give him the take sign is because you've got a pitcher here that's borderline maybe getting on the ropes here and might be having trouble with his command.
Yeah. 3-1.
And even if he comes to you 3-0 like that, he's still got to come 2 more times.
Guerrero at second, Okamoto at first. With 2 on, 2 out. And the 3-1 pitch fouled back, and that fastball in a bit of an easier spot for guys to get to. That one was further down. Still 99 though as he fouled it off. Now with a full count and 2 outs, both Guerrero and Okamoto will be running on the pitch. Here's the 3-2. Popped up third base side and headed towards the seats and out of play.
And this is where velocity plays, because these are pitches that if they're 95, some of these Blue Jays hitters are probably getting to these pitches, but when you start getting 98, 99, that is a massive difference. It's just tough to get to them. Velocity allows a little room for error.
Perez comes set. And again the 3-2. Swung on and missed. He gets him. 9 strikeouts through 4. Gave up a hit a batter. But the Blue Jays leave a couple of men on. After this strikeout, maybe another look into the Blue Jays dugout. John Schneider probably won't like that either. Looking into the dugout, it appeared once, maybe twice, certainly did after he hit Okamoto. Then after the strikeout of Piñango, that again looked like a look into the dugout, and Schneider's like, what are you doing, man? And then it appears that Perez met with the assistant pitching coach Rob Marcello, And we can't know exactly what was said, but it didn't appear to be, hey, great job getting a strikeout there, pat on the back. And maybe Marcelo was saying, you know what, think big picture here. Hit a bunch of their guys yesterday. You just drilled a guy in the back. Maybe don't stare into the dugout.
Dan, I can't agree with you more. I think you've hit the nail on the head right there.
Liner to left, and that's a base hit for Xavier Edwards, who has now been on base all 3 times, 2 hits and a walk.
It's kind of a classic. Hey, read the temperature of the room here, young man. He's pitching great. He's got great stuff. Maybe he heard something from the Blue Jays dugout. That's why he looked initially when he hit Okamoto. But you should not be playing in. You have to feel the game of what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
And we talked about 4 secondary pitches. John Schneider even said after the game, didn't really think anything of it at all. But now this happens, and you start looking in. Now you're creating a little tension, and from the Marlins side, you don't need that right now. You've got a 1-0 lead.
Here's Liam Hicks as Gausman checks on Edwards, who's already got a stolen base today, his 7th of the season. Hicks a pop-up and a walk so far in this game. And a ground ball to second. Clement to Jimenez and on to first, and Gausman gets his 2nd double play ball of the afternoon.
Well, you said it earlier, Kevin, not necessarily a ground ball pitcher, but Liam Hicks, we know he's trying to pull the baseball. You know he's trying to pull it in the air, but it looked like he came up and out of his swing right there and maybe topped it a little bit right to Ernie.
So now Gausman will face Otto Lopez with 2 outs, so the base is empty. Lopez is 2 for 2, couple of singles, and he has driven in the only run of the ball game. That came back in the 1st. And that runs inside, and it's 2-0. And just to keep an eye on things here.
Yep.
You know, there are some people who aren't in the best of moods right now.
Kevin Gausman is a guy who will pitch right-handers in. I think that's something he's done this year very effectively, but we're all starting to feel the temperature of the room, and it's rising just a bit.
Down the middle for a strike, 2-1. I think Lopez is kind of thinking about it. He has backed out of the box on 2 pitches that weren't close to him. So I think maybe he's a little bit got that in the back of his mind a little bit, as Mason Fluharty has gotten up. Jams him, and this one is going to fall in shallow right. And Lopez, who just has an uncanny ability to put the bat on the ball most of the time, is now 3 for 3.
There's that contact ability. Gets a lot of hits because he can handle a lot of pitches. This isn't how you draw it up, but he will take it. Really pulling the hands in, battling.
Now Kyle Stowers, who has struck out and grounded into a double play. Gausman about to throw pitch number 90. So the way that at bat unfolded, obviously one that just got away on Gausman a little bit. Lopez liable to be running. He's got a stolen base today as well, his 9th. Safe back at first.
See Guerrero playing off the bag right there with that left-handed hitter trying to cover a lot of ground.
Gosman now falls behind 3-1.
Give yourself a little bit of room with the left-handed hitter, and then what you'll see first baseman like that too is what they'll do is catch the ball from the pitcher on a pickoff attempt and tag the runner's body more than going to the base where the hand will be going in.
Runner goes. Pitch a strike. Throw down. Out at second base. But hang on a second. The Marlins dugout kind of erupted all at once and said, hey, he looks safe, and they are going to challenge. This is the third play out at second where the call might have been wrong.
Miami is challenging the out call at second base.
The first one was very close. We thought it should have been overturned, but maybe wouldn't. The Blue Jays couldn't challenge the next one when it definitely looked like it was incorrect. And the call here is out, and he's safe.
For sure. Saw that hand go into the base actually moved. The throw was slightly to the shortstop side of the bag. Tyler Heineman did a great job getting rid of it quickly and on a line, but Jimenez had to travel a little too far for the tag.
After review, the call is overturned. The runner's safe. Miami retains his challenge.
Pretty clear cut. Second stolen base of the game for Lopez. And the Marlins still have their challenge. Blue Jays have lost theirs. It's a full count on Stowers. And a bouncer to the right side. Clement on to first. And Gosman gets out of it. Another runner stranded. It is still a 1-0 game as we say hello to Jamie Campbell. The manager of the Marlins has had to make an unexpected change. Get a load of this, especially if you have been with us all afternoon. Yuri Perez, this is just a couple of minutes ago, as the top half of the inning is ending, and Perez is getting ready. He's talking with one of his pitching coaches, Rob Marcello. He's getting ready, doing some stretching. I'm going to go out on the field and get back after it, and I do a little of this and a little of that, and oh, what did I do? And he immediately sits down. Don't know if it was back, leg, knee. Don't know what it is. This is like 2 minutes ago, but he's in a lot of pain and had to be helped down the stairs and eventually up towards the clubhouse. And Yuri Perez is out of the game.
Wow. Looked like he was doing some quick little stretches before he headed back out on the field. He could not even walk under his own power.
So an unexpected development here in this one, and Clayton McCullers had to go to the bullpen a lot earlier than he expected. And he has brought right-hander Michael Peterson into the game. Peterson has yet to appear in the series. He was up a couple of times on Monday night. Because it's an injury situation, he's got as much time as he needs to get loose, and he's doing that on the game mound.
18 games for Peterson this season. A whip of just over 1, 7 walks and 21 strikeouts in his 19 2/3 innings. His third team that he has pitched for, parts of 3 seasons, been with the Dodgers, with the Marlins, went to Atlanta, came back to the Marlins. He's a right-hander with a fastball, average over 97 miles per hour with a slider and a changeup, so another big arm for the Marlins.
And the Blue Jays couldn't get a lot going against Perez. The big arm, the 9 strikeouts. They weren't thrilled with some of the other stuff. Looking into the dugout on a couple of different levels, Joe, I don't think they are glad to see Perez leave the game.
Well, anytime somebody is pitching really well, the whole idea is to get into the bullpen and get him out of the game. This is not what the Blue Jays expected, but they will take it. As the tension was rising for an inning or so there.
Yeah. What a day for a ball game. Absolutely perfect. Final game of the homestand. The Blue Jays are off to Baltimore and then Atlanta for 7 games. 4-game series with the Orioles starting tomorrow night. And it's going to be Ernie Clement, Andres Jimenez, and Tyler Heineman coming up against Peterson once he is ready to go. Still a big fastball, as you mentioned, from Peterson, about 97 instead of 99 and 100, and fewer pitches to think about. A slider and a changeup as well. Clement comes in on a 9-game hitting streak, hitting .387 in that stretch, and began play today overall at .298. That is 7th in the American League. School day. And I think here at the ball game today, attendance was perfect. Everybody showed up. A little slushy. Go slow, young man. Get some brain freeze there. Lots of signs and lots of energy in the ballpark.
Well, Peterson will get Clement to start things off. He's been especially tough on right-handers with that fastball slider combination.
Taken low, ball 1. He did not want to throw Clement a first pitch fastball. Started him with a right-on-right change.
Or a slider. Yes, he went changeup.
Yeah, that's respect for Ernie's ability to hit the first pitch, to hit fastballs. Grounded to short. Lopez has it. High throw, but they get him by a half step. One down.
Well, good hustle getting down the line by Ernie. You hit a routine ground ball, and all you got to do is play the game the right way and make a shortstop rush just a hair. Looked like he got under that throw, almost got away from him.
One down, and here's Andres Jimenez, who on a 2-strike pitch lined one softly into center off Perez back in the 3rd. Clement now 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Two 2-0 on Jimenez.
This bullpen from the Marlins has been pretty solid, so the Blue Jays will have their work cut out for them here to try to get one to even things up. But if they're going to win this ball game, scoring multiple runs.
There's a strike, 2-1. Nathan Lucas, a couple of spots away. He's in the leadoff spot this afternoon. And a swing through a fastball, 2-2. Fights it off.
See that high target from Liam Hicks. It looks like the game plan is to stay up in the zone, the top half, against Jimenez. That one didn't quite get up as far as he wanted it.
Two again. Now the slider in on his hands, and it's a weak ground ball to second. 2 down.
Catch every pitch with Canada's most reliable 5G Plus network and best 5G Plus network. Rogers, we got you.
Dan Schulman, Joe Siddall, and Hazel May. Glad you're with us this afternoon. 1-0 Marlins bottom 5, and here comes Tyler Heineman to face Michael Peterson. Heineman struck out in the 3rd. Not close, ball 1. Mason Fluharty looks like he may be coming in, and 2 of the first 3 batters due up for the Marlins are left-handed batters, so Gausman may be done. We're not sure.
Gausman got up to 95 pitches through just 5 innings. A lot of foul balls today, just couldn't seem to put hitters away, even though he still struck out a handful.
Got a couple of big double play balls, has only given up 1 run. Foul back, 1-2. down and in to even it up. A little sunscreen never hurts.
You gotta
smart.
have it.
Gotta have it.
Very smart. Protect that skin.
Yeah.
Baseball players and people that have been baseball for a lot of years, you're really susceptible to that, right?
Yeah.
It's a summer sport. You're at spring training for 6 or 7 weeks every year. And if you're in this game for 20 and 30 years, you can see why.
Absolutely.
Sunscreen becomes very important.
Full count on Heineman as Peterson comes set. This one's headed for the seats up above the third base dugout.
I felt like I was preaching a bit there from my dermatologist's office.
No, but you're right.
Because I see mine every year,
Yeah.
and you know, you get these spots, you want to make sure you get them early.
Well, you're right about Florida. Like down
Yes.
there at spring training, there isn't the same kind of cover as there is in major league stadiums, and you're out in the backfields all the time, and they're out there for hours every day.
And for me, it was, I've got one ear that I've had that, and that's very common, again, because your ears are always exposed to the sun.
Yeah.
And you know, you've got a baseball uniform on most of the day as a player or a coach, but your face is generally pretty exposed.
Another foul back by Heineman, making Peterson work. 8 pitches and counting. Another way to get it done. Goes from winter to summer in about 3 days here, doesn't it? Will this one get out of play? It won't, but nobody can get to it. The third baseman, Paulie, playing well off the line, and that one dropped untouched.
You don't see too many pop-ups land in the field of play without being caught because it wasn't really that high. And Paulie playing way over by shortstop with a left-handed hitter in the box.
Here comes pitch number 10 to Tyler Heineman. He checked the swing and he draws the walk.
I wonder if Liam Hicks is asking if that was a foul tip. It sounded like he heard a little something.
I think that he made the motion to the dugout. You cannot challenge if a pitch was fouled off or not. So he's just questioning the umpire and telling the dugout what he was saying. Now, if anything, the bat kind of bent behind him a little bit. He didn't miss his forearm by that much on the way in either, but it is ball 4 to Heineman. A man on for Lucas. Lucas, a couple of strikeouts against Perez. Got a day off yesterday, just coming back from the hamstring stint on the IL, and John Schneider's line was, quote, "I don't want to run him into the ground right away." There's a lot of playing time for these guys, and with George Springer getting a day today, all 4 of the left-hand hitting outfielders are in there. Just a day for Springer. He'll be back tomorrow night, if not in the game later today. Down goes Lucas, and it's 0-2.
A little breaking ball from a right-hander. It's coming into you as a left-handed hitter, and you catch the top of it. Ouch, right off the foot.
He deserves a day where nothing hurts.
Jeez.
He has had a tough go from vertigo to the hamstring to getting hit in the head 2 days ago to this. 2 outs, 2 strikes. Heineman the lead. And the pitch. Got a piece and stays alive. Left-hander Andrew Nardi, he's the pitcher who hit Lucas in the head on a Monday night. He is up in the bullpen right now That's got Varsho and Sanchez 2 and 3 spots away written all over it if the inning got that far. In the dirt, ball 1, throw down, Heineman back.
Now, Liam Hicks opts to just try to pick this clean like a lot of catchers do now with breaking balls in the dirt, and while you're doing it, your footwork takes you right there. Come up and make the throw anyway. Sometimes you'll catch that base runner getting a bigger secondary lead when they see the trajectory of that pitch going down into the dirt.
One, two again, and this one's hit hard. Deep right center field. And it's off the wall. Heineman around third. Coming to the plate and in to score as the Nathan Lucas double has tied it up.
And let's not forget about the 10-pitch walk to Tyler Heineman, wearing down Peterson, and Lucas gets on this pitch down in the zone. Does he ever go down to get it? Drives it deep off the wall in right center.
That is going to tie the ball game. Now an intentional walk to Guerrero, and that will signal the end for Peterson as Clayton McCullough is going to go to his bullpen again for the left-hander Nardi. The Yuri Perez injury, which we have been told is a right hamstring spasm that has knocked him out of the game, has changed the complexion of the game here at Rogers Center. Tie ball game now here at Rogers Center, and the Marlins going to the pen again. Left-hander Andrew Nardi.
Nardi got a couple of outs on Monday night after coming in and hitting Nathan Lucas with a pitch in the head. He retired the next 2 batters he faced. He's had a much better month of May after getting off to a very slow start in April.
So Clayton McCullough wanted the lefty-lefty matchup with Varsho. They intentionally walked Guerrero to get to this. Varsho coming up. A strikeout and a fly ball to left. This is popped up. Will there be room for Paulie? There will not. Baseball gods are smiling on the Blue Jays a little bit on some of these foul balls here today. Look who's on deck. You know just by looking at the shoes. George Springer is out to hit for Jesus Sanchez if Varsho can keep it going. Sanchez DHing today. Some reverse splits. Lefties have hit Nardi harder than righties this year. You know, just getting back to Lucas, doesn't it feel a little more 2025-ish, or just everything seems a little bit more settled and as it should be when he is healthy?
I think it's the at-bats that he gives you.
Yeah.
He really has good at-bats and sees a lot of pitches and foul pitches off, and I think we'll feel even more of that when Kirk returns.
2 balls and a strike on Varsho. Now 3-1, and Nardi in jeopardy of loading the bases for Springer. I don't know if John Schneider thought he might go to Springer this early, relatively speaking, in the ball game, but if the moment calls for it. Called strike, and it's 3-2.
Did that look like a challenge?
I don't know, because some guys just put their hand up on their helmet after every pitch. It wasn't a tap, and
then the umpire said no,
right,
no, no, that wasn't a challenge.
Maybe he was just too slow to do it, or maybe it wasn't intended to be that. Now strike 3 called. Nardi gets Varsho. But the Blue Jays do tie it. Nathan Lucas goes draws down and gets it and drives it off the wall in right center to cash in Tyler Heineman, and it's 1-1. Kevin Gausman, he had to battle today. Got a couple of big double play balls. There was some traffic, men on base, a lot of foul balls, but those 2 double play balls were huge. He only gives up 1 run in 5 innings.
Yeah, those foul balls oftentimes are indicative of the fact that he just didn't quite have that good put away stuff. We thought the Marlins laid off on a lot of close pitches, a lot of splitters down, but double play balls are a pitcher's best friend.
And here's Mason Fluharty to face the left-hand hitting Jacob Marcy. And Fluharty will start him with a strike. Fluharty faced one batter Monday night. That was Xavier Edwards, and struck him out. Did not pitch last night. For Mason, this is his 29th appearance of the season. He is the major league leader. 2 other pitchers have 28, and one of them is Braden Fisher. Blue Jays have gone to these 2 guys a lot. 2 guys who did not start last year on the big league roster. Both came up, first Fluharty, then Fisher, if memory serves. And needless to say, by the middle of and the end of last season were 2 big parts of Pete Walker and John Schneider's bullpen. Two and two. Foul back.
He will move that cutter and sweeper around. He's been really tough on left-handed hitters. But he'll see a righty and Connor Norby on deck, and that's the righties he's had to move that cutter. He'll backdoor it away. He'll come in with it. So moving those pitches around is important because he's basically got 2 of them.
And hit him with a sweeper, a breaking ball that got away from him. And Marcy is aboard.
Well, this one never had a chance. He must have just slipped right out of his hand to begin with.
Jeff Hoffman up in the bullpen. Bullpen appears to be quite fresh today. A lot of options available for John Schneider. So the batter is Connor Norby, who flied out in the second and was hit by a pitch in the fourth. Up and away, ball 1. A 1-1 tie. The Marlins out hitting the Blue Jays 6-4. Miami's left 6 men on, the Blue Jays 5. Fouled off, 1-1.
Well, you never know in a bunt situation what you want to do, and I think Vladimir Guerrero Jr., he's looking for direction from his bench right here. So you're holding him on. Are we thinking about the bunt? Third baseman, he said, hey, bring Okamoto in. This guy might bunt. He's trying to play manager over there.
Yeah, that's not him asking what he should do. That's him telling them what he thinks they should do with Okamoto. High in the air to deep left center field. Piñango's got room. In the shadows of the wall out in deep left center, he's got just enough room to make the catch.
Well, we've seen him go after balls aggressively in that left center gap. Varsho took the first one earlier in the ball game. Dalton was not getting to this one, and he did not give up on it. Stayed right with it the whole way. Well done.
And now Pete Walker is out to the mound because Clayton McCullough has put a pinch hitter into the game. And Roberto Hernandez, a right-handed batter, is out in the on-deck circle to pinch hit for Owen Casey. And you and I were talking about this during the break. You can make the move now, bring the righty in to face the lefty, but then later on that righty's going to face whatever right-handed pitcher is on the mound for the Blue Jays, or you could leave Casey to face the lefty.
Yeah, you might get a Hoffman, you might get a Rogers or Varland, and that's maybe when you would want Owen Casey's bat. But with the runner on, I think they feel like they want the advantage right here because extra bases can score a run.
And with Pete on the mound, John Schneider's got to make a phone call himself.
That was one of those rare changeups from Mason Fluharty. We've talked about him trying to come up with that third pitch for right-handed batters, but it kind of stayed middle in, and he almost got hurt by it.
Hernandez started in last night's game, went 1 for 4. Had a big moment Sunday against the Mets. We mentioned it last night. Hit a walk-off grand slam. It was the bottom of the ninth in Miami. It was scoreless between the Mets and Marlins, and he walked it off with a grand slam. Runner goes. Throw down by Heineman on a bounce, and now he is out as Marcy overslid the bag by about 4 feet.
Well, this play was going to be very close, and I was thinking speed on the bases, left-handed pitcher, you've got to gamble and go first move. He took off. Heineman made a little bit of a short hop throw, but he overslid the bag. What a gentleman Ernie is picking up his helmet for him. Did he have him initially?
I think he actually got him on the helmet initially. And the second base ump, Nick Lentz, who's had a busy and kind of a tough day out there. There have been a few calls that have required or look like they would require challenges. He didn't make a signal. He was still watching the play even as Marcy slid off the bag. So to me that says he doesn't think that Ernie tagged him, and so he was waiting for the play to be finalized, and Ernie stuck with it. And now a base hit into left center for Hernandez. These Marlins are tough to pitch against.
Well, they keep coming at you, and you see the way Hernandez is running down to first base. He was thinking double out of the box, so he may be on the run soon as well.
And John Schneider's on his way to the mound. That's going to be all for Fluharty, with a right hand hitting Christopher Morel coming up. Schneider will take the ball from Fluharty, and Jeff Hoffman coming into the game here in the 6th inning. So here's Jeff Hoffman on in the 6th inning, and this is not a statement about Hoffman in a negative sense. I mean, this is a statement about the importance of this game. John Schneider's got a well-rested bullpen. It's tied at 1. There's a man on. It's getting close to the top of the order again, and this is leverage right now in a swing game, a game that John Schneider really wants to win the series. That's always been his mantra: win the series. You keep winning enough series, things will turn out just fine at the end. So I think what he is saying is, hey, he's got a lot of trust right now with the way that Hoffman is pitching, and he wants him in here in a big spot.
And you see a throw over initially here, speed on the bases, and Hoffman has not been the best at keeping runners close. So we'll see if Hernandez doesn't try to take off early in this at bat.
Not going, and it's strike 1 to Morel. That's a slider from Hoffman, a pitch he has been throwing a lot lately.
He's been throwing it a lot, and as an attempted base stealer, maybe you take your shot too, anticipating a slider down in the zone.
Not going again, and a swing and a miss, 0-2.
Well, I think the pitch has given him really good results, and it's kind of like we've heard around the game so much in the last number of years. If a pitch is very effective, throw it more, and it seems to be like that's what Jeff is doing.
Looking into Heineman, has his sign. And a snaps a throw to first, runner back. Way out in front, 0-2. Runner goes. Throw down by Heineman. Short hop by Clement. It's a stolen base for Hernandez. Marlins now have 4 stolen bases in 5 tries in this game.
And there was a slider down and in. That's exactly what I'm talking about, is a tough pitch to handle for a catcher, but it's a moot point if the pitcher's got a big leg kick and all. But for Hoffman, it's about avoiding damage, and if there's lower slug against your slider, you're going to throw it more, as opposed to the slug that goes against his fastball.
Strike 3 called. Challenge coming from Morel.
The previous pitch was called a strike. The batter is challenging.
Did it catch the corner? It did not. A successful challenge.
Miami has 2 remaining.
They've still got 2 remaining, and Morel is still up there now with a count of 2-2. A step off, and they've got him hung up. Okamoto puts the tag on him, and now the Marlins are retired. A little bit too aggressive, and the Blue Jays sniffed it out. Little inside move from Hoffman off to Okamoto, and it's on to the bottom of the 6th. Celebrate a Blue Jays legend with the Roy Halladay replica retro jersey giveaway. On Monday, June 8th, the first 15,000 fans will receive a retro Halladay jersey. Buy your tickets now at bluejays.com/promotions. Hernandez remains in the game in left, and Stowers has moved to right for the Marlins. And here's George Springer pinch hitting for Jesus Sanchez. And a ground ball to third for a first pitch out here in the bottom of the 6th. So John Schneider knew the lefty was going to be on the mound and sent Springer up for Sanchez, but he grounds out, and here's Kaz Okamoto. A strikeout and a hit by pitch. Fly ball to right field. Hit well. It's gone. Okamoto's first home run since the 5th of this month. It has been a while, but what a big spot for it as the Blue Jays take the lead.
A huge spot. The Blue Jays hit 3 home runs in the game last night, all coming at big times, all very meaningful. This one very meaningful as well. Put the Blue Jays up 2-1 in the 6th.
This game changed when Yuri Perez left with a hamstring spasm, is the word from the Marlins. That looked like it happened when he was just kind of standing up, stretching, getting loose to get back on the mound for the 5th inning. Something happened, needed help getting down the stairs, and Clayton McCullough had to go to the bullpen. Blue Jays got a run in the 5th, and now another on the home run by Okamoto here in the 6th. Swing and a miss, 1-2 on Yohendrick Pinango. For Okamoto, his team leading 11th home run of the season, but again, it had been just over 3 weeks since he had hit one, as Nardi now strikes out Pinango.
Well, he certainly hasn't seen many changeups today, but it is a changeup from the left-hander, and it just stayed flat and out over the plate. And as he's been trying to do a little bit more again, is stay on the baseball, think the other way, and did he ever hit it the other way this time? Really stays behind the baseball so well.
He has shown power to the opposite field. As now Ernie Clement shows a little power. Did he get enough of it? Not quite. To the wall in deep left center for a guy who's homered in each of the last 2 games. But Okamoto with a home run and a Cavs smile. The Blue Jays have the lead.
For asking to begin the conversation. Is Zepbound the right choice for you? Ask a doctor about Zepbound. Visit Zepbound.ca for savings.
Kazuma Okamoto has certainly had his highs and lows, hot spells, cold spells with the bat so far this year. A hit in each of his last 3 games, good contact in each of his last 3 games, but that's the first home run in just over 3 weeks, and it came at a very good time. The Blue Jays now lead 2-1, top of the 7th. And the batter is Christopher Morel, who saw a lot of Jeff Hoffman sliders in the 6th. He was at the plate when Hernandez was thrown out trying to steal, but he has seen a number of pitches already from Hoffman. This is in the air, shallow left center field, a dive, and it's in and out of the glove of Varsho. Just could not quite squeeze it, and it'll be a base hit for Morel.
Well, he's in the shadow to start. He went to his right, but then came in and just cannot come up with the baseball. A great effort. He was there, just didn't come up with it. Looked like that right sleeve rolled all the way up. I was hoping he wasn't grabbing his wrist or something, but I think it was his sleeve he was just pulling back down.
And here's Esteiri Ruiz, who, as we told you a couple of nights ago, stole 67 bases 3 years ago with the then Oakland Athletics. He is running for Morel. He's not going to stick around long, you wouldn't think. And again, the Marlins as a team very aggressive. This guy is lightning fast. As you mentioned, Hoffman has had trouble holding runners. This seems like basically an automatic go at some point for the Marlins. There he goes. Pitch taken. Heineman throw. Tag. Got him. The throw tailed a little bit, but Jimenez, as we often see, got the tag down on the leg or the foot of the runner, and Ruiz is thrown out.
This throw was way up into the line. Watch how far the throw is to the right of the second base bag. It's what allows Jimenez to put the tag on the very lower part of his body before the feet, before the hands get in there.
Tagging is a skill, isn't it?
It sure is.
Yeah.
It sure is. And Tyler's happy too, because he knows they got a speedster out there.
Right.
You know they're running. You called it. You know they're going to run. And then as a catcher, you feel like, don't you think you're running on me? Right on. Not even close.
No argument from Ruiz. No chatter from the dugout. Great play by Andres Jimenez. Javier Baez is a guy who has always been seen as a great tagger around the bag, but Andres Jimenez is pretty close.
He is right with him, and it's a good job by Heineman. It's the catcher's job to throw it to that location. This is what they do in the game now. If you would have told me to do that 30 years ago, I would have thought you were crazy. That was a bad throw. 30 years ago, that was a bad throw. But now they figured it's a bit shorter, it's into the runner a little bit, and you can apply the tag before he gets in there. Smart.
Jimenez holding his left wrist. We'll keep an eye on that. Swung on and missed by Graham Pauley. 2 down. Hoffman getting some big outs. Got some help from his shortstop on that play out at second.
There's that split grip, and it just goes straight down. Great pitch.
Top of the order, Xavier Edwards, who's been on base all 3 times today. 2 hits and a walk. Righty and a lefty. Anthony Bender, John King, both up for the Marlins. Bullpen for the Blue Jays is quiet. 1-1. Throwing the slider to a lefty and getting a called strike. Okamoto in at third as Edwards asked for time. Max Scherzer, who threw a couple of innings, simulated innings on the field today in conversation with Trey Savage. Oh, really, Max is the conversation. So Savage will start Saturday in the third game of the series in Baltimore. Called strike 1-2.
Hoffman really leaning into that slider again.
And then a fastball that is sent foul down the line. A very defensive swing, and Edwards is feeling it in that left hand.
That is a great pitch, especially with all the sliders that he's been throwing mixed into some splitters. But you go up top with a fastball now, it just changes the eye level. They see that velocity, and I can guarantee you it's going to be a slider or a split now. That's just a show pitch, but it's an important one. On occasion you may double up there, but just the way Jeff Hoffman has been pitching lately, I don't think so.
Up and away, it's 2-2. Blue Jays tied it in the bottom of the fifth, took the lead in the bottom of the sixth. Up by one here, top seven. The 2-2 pitch in the dirt. It's full. And if Edwards were to get on, Liam Hicks would come up for the Marlins. This is lined to right center field, and it's down for a base hit. Lucas will cut it off to hold Edwards to a single, and once again you got to think about the running game here for the Marlins.
It's almost when anybody gets on.
They are 4 for 6 today, Joe.
It's easier to list off the guys that won't be running.
Yeah. I guess technically 4 for 7 because of the one between second and third, where Hoffman got him at a rundown. There goes Edwards. No swing. Throw down. Safe is the call. Nick Lenz had a long look at it to see whether or not Edwards came off the bag.
Jimenez wants a challenge, but he just realized none left.
They don't have a challenge.
Yes.
They lost it earlier.
He was looking to the bench. Did he come off right here? Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I think he got the fingertips back on, but again, it doesn't matter. The Blue Jays don't have a challenge. What a busy day out at second base. Swing and a miss. Good splitter. It's 0-2 on Hicks. Look back at Edwards and the 0-2 pitch. Ball one, down and in. Pitch count now up to 21 for Hoffman. Tyler Rogers is getting up. Ideally, if you're John Schneider, Rogers in the 8th, Varland in the 9th. But we'll see how it goes. High fastball. Appeal did not go. It's a good job by Hicks to check the swing. Another phone call for Pete Walker. The 2-2 pitch. He got him. Went back to the slider, got a swing and a miss. The runner is stranded. And as this ball game moves to the 7th inning stretch, the Blue Jays still have the lead. Meeting rooms Rooms at Rogers Center offer a bold new way to take your next meeting beyond the office. With a variety of room styles designed for everything from executive board meetings to client presentations and strategy sessions, there's a space suited for every type of meeting. For more information, visit bluejays/meetingrooms.com. Tight ball game here in the rubber match. It's 2-1 Blue Jays going bottom 7. And a new pitcher on for Miami, left-hander John King.
Pitched a scoreless inning on Monday here against the Blue Jays. Got that ERA down to 2.01 now. That whip is .72. That's walks plus hits per innings pitched. Just 8 walks against 17 strikeouts in his 22 1/3. He has been a very reliable left-hander for Clayton McCullough.
Andres Jimenez is going to lead it off for the Blue Jays. I don't know that you can have a more active game as a middle infielder than Jimenez has had with all these stolen base attempts. Lefty-lefty matchup to get it going. At the plate, Jimenez is 1 for 2.
King gave up 1 run in the month of March and April over 11 2/3 innings. 4 runs over 8 2/3 in the month of May. So great start to the season, but still very solid.
Marlins have made all kinds of defensive changes after the pinch hitting and pinch running they've been doing. Back towards the mound. King has it, fires onto first for the out. Defensively, Ruiz remains in the game at right. Stowers goes back to left. Sanoja is now in at third, and Paulie has shifted over to first.
Versatile players for the Marlins. They're bouncing around all over the place.
Keeping us on our toes here in our scorebooks. Here's Tyler Heineman to turn around and bat right-handed. And as you so accurately pointed out in the aftermath of the Nathan Lucas RBI double, it was a Tyler Heineman walk that set the stage for that. The inning began with 2 outs and nobody on, and then Heineman fouled off a whole bunch of pitches. It was a 10-pitch at bat. He worked him for a walk, and then Lucas drove him in.
It certainly doesn't happen all of the time, but it feels like when you have those types of plate appearances, good things tend to follow, whether that it took something out of the pitcher, whether he's fatigued a little bit. Maybe he didn't leave a pitch right down the middle to Nathan Lucas. He had a very good pitch down in the zone, went down and got it and hit it off that right field wall.
Bounces one up the first baseline, but it goes foul. Louis Varland is up, getting ready for the 8th inning. We saw Tyler Rogers up before. Louis generally has been getting the 9th, but we have seen every now and again when it's some of the better hitters the other team has coming up. Maybe Louis gets that spot, and Otto Lopez is leading it off.
This is a little bit more bullpen by committee. They're matching up based on where they are in the lineup. But we do know that Varland seems to be the guy that's going to get the highest leverage spot in the opposition's lineup.
It remains 1-2 on Heineman. Did he go? Yes, he did. 2 down. So top of the order, Nathan Lucas, and we have seen a couple of times already today where maybe John Schneider has gone or could have gone to like a Miles Straw to pinch hit, but he has left Pinyango in to hit. He has left Lucas in to hit. I would imagine we're going to see Straw in the outfield in the top of the 8th inning, coming in for Pinyango. Lucas is a guy, obviously, you want to keep him in. He is a very good defensive player. You're not going to lift him here. It's a one-hopper to short. Lopez has it, and on to first in time as King works a 1-2-3 inning. Through 7, 2-1 Blue Jays, and time now for a Blue Jays Central update with Jamie and Chris. Way this season, including on Wednesday, June 10th, the first 15,000 fans at Rogers Center getting a Dylan Cease bobblehead. Get your tickets now at bluejays.com/promotions. You walk by the clean-shaven Dylan Cease in the clubhouse today, and it's almost like they got a new guy. He looks so different than he looked before. Said he just likes to change it up every now and again. John Schneider's changing it up a little bit here by bringing Louis Varland on in the 8th.
Louis Varland has had plenty of rest. He has not pitched since Friday night against Pittsburgh. That's when he came on for a 2-inning save. Did not walk a batter, struck out 3. It was his 7th save of the season. Here he is in the 8th inning. We'll see how they handle the 8th and the 9th.
And Miles Straw indeed in the game and left now for Yohendrick Pinyango as Otto Lopez leads it off for the Marlins and takes outside ball 1. Lopez 3 for 3, 3 singles. Fouls off the fastball 1-1. By the way, a note on Varland. We found out yesterday, you may remember the play at Yankee Stadium. Jazz Chisholm Jr. hit a chopper and Varland came over to get it, and it popped out of his glove, if memory serves, and Chisholm reached, and originally it was scored as a base hit. 6 days later, yesterday, we found out the scoring has been changed from a hit off Varland to an error on Varland, which also changed the fact that it was an earned run. Now it's an unearned run. So Louis, who did have 2 earned runs on his record this season, now has 1 in 27 2/3 innings, and that's why his ERA went from 0.66 to 0.33. And that can happen.
Yeah, well, there are so many factors in a play like that. You've got a guy that can run a bit, so you do have to rush. Does that force you to make your mistake?
Down the right field line, dropping. It's a fair ball. Otto Lopez can't miss today. He is 4 for 4.
Well, it is remarkable. We have seen him flip the ball all over the field. Another blooper as he just tries to get to this pitch, and he pops it up down that right field line, but he couldn't hit it in a better spot.
And a pretty good spot for the pitch down at the knees, but Lopez is in some kind of a groove, and again, he's a threat to go. He's got 2 steals today, and now a hard hit ball deep down the right field line. It's foul. Just foul down in the corner off the bat of Kyle Stowers.
That initially looked like trouble. It was a curveball that came down and in on Stowers, and he just missed that line. You know, Louis' breaking balls are so good down in there. That curveball, it's a dangerous spot against left-handed batters, but not when you get the swing and miss that he gets.
Sometimes we'll go to the changeup against a lefty too to get a ground ball. Remember that double play in Anaheim? Swing and a miss, 0-2.
You called for it.
Stowers, again, a really down start to the season. He was an all-star last year, 25 home runs, 88 runs driven in. Runner not going, and the 0-2 pulled through the right side, a base hit. Lopez will stop at second.
Well, it's right down the middle, even though it's 99. Got ahead in the count, but he just barreled it and drilled it right into the right field.
Seems like the Marlins have had this kind of thing going on all day.
Yeah.
They got 11 hits now, but have only scored 1 run. Here's Jacob Marcy, who was 0 for 2 and was also hit by a pitch back in the 6th. Okamoto way in at third. Marcy swings away and fouls it off. Okamoto's got a lot to think about over at third base in this situation.
Well, you do, because you're anticipating a potential bunt, so you got to keep one eye on the runner at second, one eye on the hitter, and read the play.
Marlins got it. They'll just get the 1 as Jimenez makes a very good play to make sure that ball does not get into the outfield, but a missed opportunity there.
It's a missed opportunity because Louis' first thought was third base, and you don't do this. You get a ball back to you, you go to second. Watch his first move. He's thinking of that runner, so he never sets his feet up. And he almost threw this ball into center field.
Should have been a 1-6-3.
Step toward your target when you're throwing, but he's wide open because he's looking at that runner. He's kicking himself right now, knowing that should have been a double play.
Yeah, could have been a runner at third, 2 outs. Instead, first and third, 1 out. The infield now comes in, and the batter is Connor Norby. And now the Marlins can do all sorts of things. Norby squares to bunt, takes a strike. Marcy, the runner at first, has all kinds of speed as well.
Well, you've got everybody coming there.
Yeah.
You saw that square to bunt. Okamoto's going to have to come in a little bit.
They can bunt, they can steal, they can play it straight. Playing it straight there as he takes it outside, ball 1.
And that could be the little game too, right? You show bunt to try to draw guys in, and then they took it off.
He went around. It's 1-2. This is when a guy who gets a lot of strikeouts could really use a strikeout.
Louis gets a lot of swing and miss on both the four-seam fastball and that curveball against right-handed hitters. Judge it by that swing. Norby did not like the looks of the curveball.
Lopez at third, Marcy at first, both with plus speed. 1-2 pitch, down and away. Now the 2-2. Down and away again, and it's full. And you start the runner from first.
Norby does strike out. You've got Sanoja on deck. The last thing you want to do is run into a strike him out, throw him out if you're the Marlins.
He's going. It's strike 3 called. The throw down. Clement gets after him and tags him out. And the Marlins are retired.
Strike him out, throw him out. They ran right into it.
Wow. Norby took it for strike 3. And then they had Marcy easily at second. Clement just had to make sure the runner from third wasn't breaking. He ran Marcy down, and it's still 2-1. 50 seasons jackpot from J-Scare. Don't miss your chance to be the next big winner. Get your tickets now, bluejays.com/5050 from Alberta, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, or Ontario. Interesting ball game. Joe, take us through this last play.
Well, this is an outstanding job by Ernie Clement. You know that they're going to hold up here, so it's a strike him out, throw him up, but the runner stops. He's trying to get that runner from third home. But what Ernie does, this is defense of the double steal. As soon as he catches the ball, he took a peek at third base, but sprinted to that runner, and that's what Heineman says. Well executed, young man. That's a nice job by both of them.
This is a game where the execution in the quote-unquote smaller moments have been huge. This game could be going all kinds of different ways right now. And look who it is, a very familiar face to Blue Jays fans, the former Tampa Bay Ray, Pete Fairbanks, who is now the closer for the Marlins, so a guy that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and company have a lot of experience against.
Well, Fairbanks got off to a miserable start to the season in the first month, been a little bit better lately. And somebody that Vladdy knows very well, but in Fairbanks, a closer, he'll be up around 97, 98 miles per hour with that cutter, slider, changeup combination.
Guerrero, Varsho, and Springer due up. The Blue Jays looking for a little insurance here in the bottom of the 8th. And a cutter in for a strike, 0-1. The Marlins are out hitting the Blue Jays 11-5, but they are just 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position, and they have lost four men on the bases. Not counting the double plays. I'm just talking about guys getting thrown out. I think they're 5 for 9, but that's an incredible number of attempts. But this is who they are. They've had a lot of traffic. Sometimes it's worked for them, but it has helped the Blue Jays here today as well. Tyler Rogers is up. So is he coming in right away or just in case? We'll see. Varland threw 16 pitches in the 8th inning. Swing and a miss. A fastball that he gets by Guerrero for out number 1. Next game for the Blue Jays is at Camden Yards in Baltimore. Blue Jays Central at 6 o'clock Eastern time. The first pitch is at 6:35 and can confirm now, as the Orioles have put out their game notes today for tonight's game, Chris Bassett is going to be on the mound for Baltimore to open up that series. It'll be Patrick Corbin starting for the Blue Jays. Varsho with a ground ball down to first, and he's retired. Do you think Bassett will be all business, or do you think some of his teammates are going to be winking and nodding at him during the game?
Well, I'm sure while he is at work, he is going to be all business. We know Chris very well. Maybe after he pitches, he'll have a lot of fun, but it's been a bit of a struggle for Bassett after signing that 1-year deal with the Orioles. They've actually used an opener in front of him. I know the one time, but he's given up a bunch of runs early, but it's been a bit of a struggle.
He's got a 5.51 ERA on the season. Here's George Springer. His second at bat came on as a pinch hitter for Jesus Sanchez in the 6th and grounded out.
And Orioles pitching staff as a whole has had their struggles. They do swing the bats though.
Well, that was Pete Alonso, that shot we had in the promo. That's an off-season addition for him. That certainly gives him more power. Called strike, 1-1. 9th inning for the Marlins. It'll be their 7, 8, 9 hitters, Sanoja, Ruiz, and Pauly. Way outside, ball 2. Straw came on for defense. Now a couple of spots away if the inning gets that far. Will it be Varland or will it be Rogers? And a big breaking ball drops in for a strike, 2-2.
Well, Louis coming off that 2-inning save last time out. Will he be doing that again? Is Rogers there just in case there is trouble? Or does Louis look relaxed and done? He's pretty relaxed.
By Louis standards, that's pretty relaxed. And the ground ball pulled to short. Lopez has it, and that's the inning. So it is on to the 9th in a 1-run game. The Blue Jays up 2-1. Looks like it is Tyler Rogers. Rangers need a win to even up their series. They are down 2-1 to the Hurricanes, and you can see Game 4 tonight. Coverage starts at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Sportsnet. The Blue Jays trying to win this series. They are up 2-1 going to the 9th inning. It has been a tight, tense, interesting game, really, for the moment it began. And it'll be Tyler Rogers on, Joe, looking for the final 3 outs.
Well, Rogers pitched in Game 1 of this series, and he had a tough one. Allowed 3 runs on a couple of hits. He also walked a batter, so he is trying to get back on track, and it can't be a better time than to try to seal this win.
Javier Sanoja waves at a slider, and it's 0-1. Sanoja getting his first at bat, came on defensively a couple of innings ago. Again, it is 7-8-9. Sanoja, Ruiz, then Pauly. If it were to get further, now you're top of the order. Edwards, Hicks. Hoffman went an inning and a third. Varland worked the 8th. Swing and a miss again. 0-2. And it's popped up. Back of the mound. It'll be Clement for out number 1. In some cases, you've got some young, inexperienced hitters who may not have seen much or any of a guy like Tyler Rogers before.
This is a very young team overall, but especially on the hitting side.
Here's Estieri Ruiz, and he has popped it up. Lucas in shallow right, and just like that, 2 down. So now it'll be Graham Pauly, the number 9 hitter, who is 0 for 3. Kevin Gausman went 5, gave up a run. Fluharty, Hoffman, Varland, and now Rogers. The big hit of the game for the Blue Jays, the home run by Kazuma Okamoto in the 6th. The 1-0 to Pauly. That's in there, 1-1. 42,372 on school day. Line drive, left center, caught by Varsho, and the Blue Jays will win it. They win the game, they win the series, and they are back within 2 games of the 500 mark as Tyler Rogers picks up his 2nd save of the season. A big home run from Okamoto. Nathan Lucas drove in a big run with a double. Guerrero was on base 3 times. And they'll hop on the plane to Baltimore feeling pretty good about things.
Kevin Gausman gave up a run in the 1st inning to the Marlins today, but settled in. It was never easy for Kevin, but he gave his team 5 innings. The bullpen put up a bunch of zeros while the Blue Jays offense came back. Okamoto with the big swing of the day. Flipped it around a little bit in the bullpen. It was Hoffman to Varland to Rogers. All kinds of options for John Schneider.
And slowly but surely, they are starting to get pointed in the right direction. They've now won 9 of their last 14 as they head to Baltimore. Time now for Blue Jays Central with Jamie Campbell and Chris LaRue.
There were many elements to this game. It was good that it was a school day because the kids got some entertainment, even though it was just a 2-1 victory for the Blue Jays. As Dan mentioned, yet another series win. So if they continue to string those, they'll be in great shape. Here is Chris LaRue. He's got a few things to say about the way the game was played today. But for those who missed it early on, let's take a look at what happened here at the Rogers Center. So here is Kevin Gausman, who looked very good against Pittsburgh when he last pitched. And in the 1st, right away with Edwards at 2nd, here's Otto Lopez, who has had himself a nice series. Little squibber up the middle, catches the 1st run of the ball game. Perez on the hill for the Marlins gets a pitcher's dream here. He gets the strikeout and then the throw out of Jimenez at second. So that ends the inning that way. Guerrero Jr. missed the last two. He's back in. Base hit his first time up. Second time to the plate. Here in the bottom of the fourth. Lifts this one to left field on a 1-2. And that drops, so he is aboard. Again, Perez does this. Drills Okamoto in the back. Combined with last night, that would be 5 Blue Jays hit. And perhaps his mistake is looking at the bench and smiling, and that did not impress the manager of the Blue Jays. And if you can read lips, you've got an idea as to what he was saying. Piñongo, swing and a miss. A quick peek from Perez, Chris. That was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if you're John Schneider, you don't love that.
So Perez indeed did lead this game after striking out 9. And his injury forced the Marlins to go to the bullpen quite early as he tried to stretch things out, but needed assistance, as you can see, getting down the steps. Here comes Nathan Lucas, who came back from the IL and looked so comfortable at the dish. He drops a double in center field that catches Heineman, who, by the way, had worked a tremendous walk straight ahead of them. So that ties the ball game. Hoffman comes on in the 6th inning. And look what happens here, the step off, and he's able to catch the runner leading off second base, Hernandez. And what a play. We'll address it with LaRue in just a minute, but that ends the top half of the 6th. The Jays need something good to happen, and it does, with Okamoto, who blasts this ball to right center field, his 11th of the season and first since May the 5th, gives Toronto a 2-1 lead at that time. So bring on Louis Varland in the 8th. Runners on the corners, 1 down. Here comes the pitch. That's strike 3. Here comes the throw that is taken by Clement. Marcy is caught off guard, and that ends any rally the Marlins had in mind. Blue Jays are victorious 2-1 as we send it down to the field momentarily. First, here is Rogers in the 9th inning with the fly ball that ends everything. Hazel May is with the man who hit the home run for the Blue Jays.
The difference in this ball game is Kaz Okamoto's team-leading 11th home run of the season. Kaz, with that swing, you sent that ball to right center. What needs to happen for that ball to go the other way?
右中間にホームランを打ったと思うんですけど、どういうアプローチで打席立ちましたか？いやもうなんとか前に飛ばそうと思ってたんで、打ててよかったです。Yeah, I just want to put, a good swing on it and put the ball in play, and good things happen when you do that, I guess.
That was your first home run since May 5th. How different did that swing feel to you?
5月5日